I'm on the corner of Shearing Road and American Boulevard in front of the Shearing Road well station. Today, we're going to learn all about the water department. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd. In each episode of the Mayor's Corner, we plan to take you to explore a different part of the City of De Pere as we discuss the latest happenings in our city. Plus, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at various areas of city government. Most of all, we want to show you all there is about the great City of De Pere. I'm here on the corner of Shearing and American Boulevard outside the Shearing Well Station, which is operated by the city's water department. Let's head inside and meet today's guest. Hey Eric, thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here, Mayor.
Awesome. I am here with Eric Zygarlicke, who is a water department supervisor. Eric, how about some background on yourself? How you got into this water department stuff? You've been obviously with De Pere for a little while, so a little background information.
Yeah, so I grew up in Marshfield on a dairy farm. I graduated from Marshfield High in 1990. From there, I went to the military. I spent 22 years in the military, recently retired from there, May last year. And I decided to go back into the environmental water type field. In 2004, I'm graduated from Fox Valley Tech and applied sciences, natural resources degree in 2008. I got my start out in Wyoming actually in wastewater. And from there, I moved over to the water industry. Spent about 8 years out there as a utilities lead, operating and maintaining that system. And I got a job here in August of 2015. So I've been here in the water department supervisor capacity ever since.
Well, that's great. So a very extensive background. Now, water, very important. I mean, we have incredible streets, parks, all these things residents take for granted, but one thing that's really important to everyone that I think they underappreciate, of course, is water. So where are we here today? What are some things that you do within the water department?
Yeah, so we're at Well Station 6 on Shearing Road, and this building and facility was reconstructed in 1982. It has a 780-foot depth well with 150 horsepower motor on it to pump water if needed. We've got two 1,200 gallon per minute pumps that we pump for our reservoir. Our reservoir is 250,000 gallons. That's where we store the water there for use when needed. And from there, we pump about 60,000 gallons per day to our distribution system for consumption throughout the water utility.
So we talk water, and then we talk about reservoir, we talk about the well station. I'm not sure everyone knows, but where do we get our water from?
So we get our water from the filtration plant down in Manitowoc. So in essence...
So we'll call this Lake Michigan water,
Lake Michigan water, correct.
Okay.
Yep. So we're a part of the Central Brown County Water Authority. We're a part of now 7 members, one of 7. We joined them in 2007. We've been part of that community since then. We have 3 connecting stations with the Central Brown County Water Authority, and we pump roughly or receive roughly 2 million gallons per day from them for a total of about 730 million gallons on average annually. 730
million gallons. That's impressive. I'm sure we're probably going to see in the background sometime during the stories an overview or a shot of the facility in Manitowoc, which I did tour. It's very, very impressive. Yes. So we get it here, and then we have stuff we have to do to get that to the residents.
Yep.
So maybe we want to go through some of that. I know you did a little bit, but it's obviously more entailed than that.
Yep. So we have the 3 connecting stations with the Central Brown County Water Authority. We also have 4 emergency backup well stations, which we used to operate up until 2007. And those were really commissioned all the way back to 1889 is when the water utility really started. From there, we have 3 water towers that people see when they drive through the community. They may not notice the 4 reservoirs that we also have, along with the 4 well stations, for a total of about 2 million gallons on reserve every day. I should say 3 million gallons on reserve every day.
3 million gallons. So we'd be covered either way. You mentioned water towers, of which we have 3, you said. Can you basically kind of give an overview of what the water tower does? It's not just there for looks, it actually has a function.
Yeah, it's 2 main functions. It acts as a storage reservoir, obviously, right? So if we ever need to operate a hydrant for fire protection throughout the system, the fire department is able to utilize that reserve, right? It also acts as a pressure mechanism where it keeps level pressure throughout the system so that we have that uniformity throughout our distribution. So when we open up the hydrant, we get the water we need. And when you open up your tap in the morning, you get the water coming out. Without that pressure mechanism, the water would either dribble out or not really come out at all.
So it truly is a function.
We do
need these things. Okay, so we talk about water and how we deliver water to residents and how important it is to everybody. Yeah. You're also involved with conservation and other aspects of water, you know, where it goes and how we get it to that location. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually we were recognized by the American Water Works Association down in Madison this year with a Water Efficiency Award. And what that really was is that we've worked really hard over the last 4 or 5 years to identify water loss issues, where it's water that may be leaking somewhere in the system, water that's unaccounted for essentially, so it's not coming out your tap, it's not being billed. It's essentially what the ratepayers would have to, or as an operational organization, we have to kind of fund that water loss, and we're not recouping anything back from that. So we've been doing a real due diligence on that and searching for these leaks with acoustic mechanisms, and that award was recognizing our efforts. We've saved roughly 150 million gallons over the last 4 years and in water loss that we've been able to find throughout the system. And so that was in recognition of our hard work.
And that helps the taxpayers and the ratepayers.
Congratulations. Helps to keep that rates low.
Congratulations on that. And I know you guys are nominated by a surrounding community. So that's an outstanding honor, a very, very impressive award. So we covered all aspects of it, and then moving forward, the city is always looking to try to, benefit the residents the best they can. So looking forward in the future, are there other projects on the horizon or something out there that we have to be aware of that will make water a better commodity for De Pere? Or is it pretty much status quo? Let's take care of what we have, and let's keep identifying efficiencies that will help the ratepayer.
Yeah, for right now, it's pretty much status quo until there is the southern bridge that comes through. Then there'll be all the water utility that goes along with that, and possible expansion on the east side. So if we move south, there actually is an opportunity to maybe add another water tower out there as the community grows. That's probably years down the road and in the future, but obviously our job is to maintain what we already have. And so we maintain 132 miles of water distribution system, roughly 1,300 hydrants and 2,300 valves throughout the system, and we're tasked to operate and maintain that on an annual basis. And our staff does a wonderful job of doing that every year.
That's great. Now, the City of De Pere has, I think, an outstanding website. So if you go to our city website, click on Public Works, eventually you'll get to the Water Department, and there's all kinds of information on the website within the Water Department, how people pay their bills, how a bill is generated, and a whole bunch of information. You want to maybe talk about that and how residents can benefit from it. If they have questions and they don't want to contact you or the Water Department, check out the website. Yeah,
the website's great. So we have simple questions on there like, what is this blue rectangle box on the side of our house, right? So that was an old register system or meter registering system on the old battery system that we had before we went to the new AMI system that we have now, which is an automatic reader to our water towers for billing purposes. So they can look on there and say, hey, what is this for? Can we remove this when we put new siding on? It answers those type of questions. It also answers questions about, say, how can we monitor our water usage? And we have a utility called AquaHawk where they can go on there and learn about that.
Yeah, that I wanted to bring up. That's
we can learn about that,
new
right?
feature, that very important, outstanding new feature we have for residents, correct?
Yeah, so AquaHawk is a tool and a program that we use at the utility to monitor all the water meters throughout the system, right? So it gives us alerts on those meters when it suspects or when it notices that there's unusual or abnormal water usage through that water meter. So when we get those alerts, we will alert the customer, send out notifications, we send out text alerts, voicemail alerts. Sometimes if we have their email contact information, we can do that as well to get that in a timely manner so people don't get surprises on their water bill. Why do I have this large water bill?
Yeah.
What can I do to help prevent this? You can actually create your own account on there, and it will alert you as a customer that, hey, your water bill is kind of high, or you can set thresholds in there. Well, I only want to go to $200 a quarter. It'll let you know when you get close to that $200 or when you go over it, so you can kind of gauge where you are in your water usage over that quarter.
And if you have a leak of some sort,
Yes.
that can be identified.
Yep.
So it's all about trying to help the
It
customer.
identifies you in real time, so it'll send you a text on your phone, and it'll let you know, hey, you're using an
X
abnormal
amount
amount of
more.
water or an exorbitant amount of water, and you can kind of diagnose that and figure it out if it's a toilet leaking, or I leave a faucet running outside, or something along those lines, or something larger.
Great. Well, listen, we learned a lot. I really appreciate, on behalf of the residents, all that the water department does, you and the entire department. We take water for granted, and I really think it's a department that's underappreciated, but obviously extremely important for the residents. So, on behalf of the City of De Pere, thanks for all you do. Congrats on the award, and then thanks for taking this commodity, getting it to the residents, and doing all you can with the efficiencies. So Eric, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We're proud to do it, Mayor.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.